The 22nd edition of the Mundial is upon us. The world is ready. The world is waiting to watch the most unique style of football watched by about 3.5 billion people of the about 7 or 7.5 billion people in the world. That means half of the people on planet Earth will be glued to their television sets, either in Qatar, where the tournament will be hosted, or anywhere in the world, watching, supporting their favorite teams as the World Cup begins. My name is Segun Odunwayo. You're welcome to World Cup Moments. I'm not here alone. I have Abiodun Adewale here in the studio with me. Together, we'll be dissecting the 32 teams at the 22nd edition of the World Cup. Who is going to be winning the World Cup? That is $1 million question nobody has an answer to. However, EA Sports have come out to say that they know the team that will be winning the World Cup. Over the couple of editions, they've come out to predict the teams that will come victorious. And every single time they've predicted, it has come to pass. This year, they have a team in mind, and they've already announced it. So which team are they talking about, and what team do you think will be winning the World Cup? So the biggest question on everyone's lips is who is going to win the World Cup. EA Sports have come out to say that Argentina is going to win the World Cup, Lionel Messi's team. Of course, over the last few editions, they've always gotten it right. But Biodun, do you agree? Is Argentina winning this World Cup?
I do not agree. The closest they've been, 2014. Before then, they won 2 editions, not too far from each other. But what we saw in 2014 does not say that they will be this close again. Looking at the squad that we saw from 2014 to 2018 and up to this moment, nothing has changed except for ages of the players.
Talking about squad, what squads have we seen so far from the release of the coaches that you think stand out?
Well, standout squad, there is no perfect squad we are always going to say. A player is always going to be left out. A player is always going to be included, and it will get tongues wagging. But if you're looking for a compact team from all the squads that we've seen, you probably want to stick with England, array of stars.
England.
Then
I think
still being able to pick from an array of players across different clubs in the country and even outside the country.
I think the English national team have too many average players that I think are stars, if
you
ask me.
We've always said that
7 or 8 of them.
We've always said that
presently, Harry Maguire, if I was the coach, Harry Maguire was definitely going to be on my team. If I was a coach, a player who played less than 90 minutes of a game would definitely not be on my team. Talking about Calvin Phillips. If I was a manager, Callum Wilson is not in the top 10 highest goal scorers in the Premier League as it stands. And the guy who is the 3rd highest goal scorer is not going to be on the plane to Qatar. Ivan Toney. So a lot of malfunctioning or not good enough players. For me, England are just going to the World Cup for an excursion. So talking about players with teams with intent as regards their squad. England, okay, you picked England. 4 more.
England, then let's go to France, defending champions. Then let's go to South America, Brazil. They showed some kind of intent, some kind of statement with the players that they picked. Of course,
do they have leadership?
That is one thing that has been missing in Brazil, let's say, since they won the World Cup in 2002. That was the last time we saw leadership across board. I mean, one man showing the way and everybody following. Cafu was captain. Aside Cafu being captain, they had good players who would command so much respect from every other teammate. In 2006, it was just a matter of let's go and showboat. In 2010, they did the same thing. In 2014, they were home at their backyard and they were humiliated by Germany.
They were battered, actually.
So they must have learned, particularly from the painful lessons of 2014. Their most important player then, Neymar Jr., will not be the most important player at this World Cup.
Oh, really?
Because at this point, he has gotten to a point in his career. We've seen different documentaries, different stories about him in recent times. And we've come to understand the kind of person that he is outside of football.
For Brazil?
So Neymar will just be there, superstar, world famous. But the most important players will be the likes of Vinicius Jr., the likes of Rodrigo.
I don't think Rodrigo even starts for the Brazil.
Would even start for the team. So they have a lot of players, especially from the midfield to the front line, that can alternate different positions. But the only thing that I think sticks to the mind of everybody is that Neymar is always on that left-hand side. Perhaps no one will be able to rival him in that position. Well, for leadership, he might not just be providing that. Thiago Silva, maybe from the back, someone from the midfield will have to stem the flow of things,
Probably
while
Casemiro.
those boys will be doing their things up front. But Neymar being the most important man.
So
it
what
doesn't
other
look
teams
like
are we
that
looking
again.
at for winning the World Cup? You mentioned England, you mentioned Brazil, you mentioned France. So what other teams should we be looking out for?
Well, maybe we should now tilt to EA Sports. Why they think Argentina will win? Maybe some logics, maybe some calculations and all of that. But if you look at it too, you can't throw them out, because if you are looking for World Cup winners, potential World Cup winners, go to South America, go to Europe. And if you are looking for teams in South America, except Brazil, Argentina, how many teams again have been able to do it in South America?
True.
No other team. Maybe Uruguay might be able to come close. They
have a
almost
fantastic blend of youth and experience.
And when we saw them in 2010 in South Africa, they had one man that stole the show, Diego Forlan, the Lord of Jabulani.
Yeah.
So maybe they just need another man like Diego Forlan to come to the party again this time around and carry them on his shoulders. Let's see if they will be able to cross different hurdles that will be in front of them. But first, do they even have an easy group stage draw?
You're not even mentioning anybody in Africa. We can't be that bad.
Well,
I know maybe not Ghana, but
you know, before we started, we were talking about World Cup fever.
Yeah.
And we're not even feeling it in Nigeria, because the World Cup fever is almost everywhere in Africa, except Nigeria. And I saw the release of the Ghanaian squad. The first thing that came to my mind, this could have been Nigeria.
Of course.
And we are just wishing them all the best. Funny thing is, they even did fasting and prayer in the Islamic and the Christianity way before even going to the World Cup. Now they have the squad. But let's talk about what Africa will be able to do. Senegal, they've done it before, 2002.
Yeah.
Storm.
Yeah.
Cameroon has done it sometimes in Italia 90.
Yeah.
Nigeria.
Ghana almost did it.
Ghana almost did it. Save for
in fact,
Luis Suarez.
Almost went past the quarterfinals.
What they would have just done was set another African record, get into the semi-final that year. But Luis Suarez said no, and he made sure.
How far can Senegal go?
Senegal have the easiest group stage draw.
I agree.
The only tough opponent in their group is the Orange, the Netherlands, who they will be facing in their first match on Monday, on the second day of the World Cup. After that, they will face Ecuador, and they will also face host Qatar. Playing host Qatar might be tricky, but Senegal
they can't beat Qatar. I don't think they have any business.
They have any business at the World Cup.
Yeah.
You know, we saw something like that sometimes in 2018 too, when Egypt were in the same group as Saudi Arabia, and I think with host Russia too, but unfortunately they couldn't.
I think this Senegalese team is stronger.
But Senegal over time has been strong. African champions. They know how to grind results, because to me they don't just play to impress. They might not even play to entertain you. They just play to get their results. And hopefully they will be able to get as many points as they should in that group. 6 points will be enough for them, and they will be into the next round.
3 players that did not make the World Cup that you think they will have lightened up the World Cup, probably because of injury or they didn't get picked.
Paul Pogba.
One.
We saw his fashion, we saw his trademark at the last World Cup. Can I think of any other player as easily as that? Except for players that are coming from France.
Ivan Toney.
Ivan Toney, one of the best strikers, hottest strikers at this moment, that would sadly not be playing. He's still hoping for a late call-up into the England squad. Maybe someone will get injured
or something
for him to get called up. Maybe N'Golo Kante too. We've not just seen the best of that guy.
In recent times.
And we saw him through 2015 up until 2018. He was phenomenal, and everything just went down that way.
So every World Cup always has a super player that is named after. Baggio's World Cup, Ronaldo's World Cup, Romario's World Cup, Mbappe's World Cup in 2018. So Abiodun, whose World Cup would this be?
Interestingly, all the players you mentioned, they've actually come from one part of the world, and maybe few from the other part of the world. Those are the two continents that will usually dominate. Mbappe has announced himself in 2018. 2022 will be a World Cup of signing out and other announcements. Cristiano Ronaldo will be playing his last World Cup. Lionel Messi will be playing his last World Cup. And a lot of aged players will be playing their last World Cup as well. So Mbappe has done his announcement in 2018. He only needs to rubber stamp it in 2022.
So what do you think will be making the announcement?
So at this point, it is still going to be an Mbappe's tournament. But it depends on how far France will be able to go. But the likes of Vinicius Junior, who have been firing at club level,
22.
this is the time to announce himself to the world that, yes, I am Vini, I am Apororo, and I've come to stay.
Any other players, young players that you think can do the magic and make it this World Cup theirs?
Well, not that I can think of almost immediately, because to bring your A game to the World Cup, we must have seen you shine bright like a diamond at club level. And there are not so many
James
youngsters.
Rodriguez in 2014 was at Monaco.
It was at AS Monaco.
Yeah,
so,
it was not as bright as the diamond, I guess.
So unless you now shine for your national team, that is where we now see
Henry Camara in 2002 for Senegal, was not a big star.
The multi-million-dollar deals
He made the World Cup ease.
Will be coming after you.
Kalilou Fadiga was not a big star. He made the World Cup ease. Papa Bouba Diop was not a big star. He made the World Cup ease. The only big star, in fact, the only big star for Senegal in 2002 was El Hadji Diop. And at the World Cup, at that World Cup, it was not special.
Now, in 2002 for Senegal, I think it was more about the team.
Exactly.
Not about any individual
Daf,
brilliance.
Tony Silva, Papa Bouba Diop, Kalilou
And
Fadiga.
I think their current coach was still in that squad too.
Cisse was their captain.
Aliou Cisse was
their captain. So I don't think it's about the club for me. I think look at Maradona's World Cup. Okay, well, you can say it was coming from a very good Napoli team as well. Romario too. Well, Badiou was having a fantastic club football period at the time too. Kylian Mbappe too in 2018 was probably not doing badly. In 2002, Ronaldo was just coming back from injury. He needed that World Cup to make a statement. And he did. Rivaldo too, the same thing. And he did. I remember Felipe Scolari saying that the Brazilian people told him, you must go to Korea, Japan with Romario. And he said, I am not going to Korea, Japan with Romario. Interestingly, his boys turned up.
Sure. And with what he had then, he definitely would have to do the job.
It was also Ronaldinho's World Cup as well. I mean, that was where he announced himself. Charlie would have go against
that long
England.
free kick against England?
Yeah, with David Seaman messing up a little, coming out of his line, and the guy caught him napping. Players that this could be their World Cup, Mbappe can probably retain this as well, and it can be.
A lot of people
Nobody's mentioning Karim Benzema.
Karim Benzema, because
old wine.
At that age, he
was the first to report to the French national team.
He keeps getting better. But then a lot of people will have opinions about English players. But then we have youngsters there who are equally as good. How about Phil Foden?
Phil Foden's World Cup.
So they have some very good youngsters too.
Harry Kane's World Cup.
Well, Harry Kane also needs it. He might not be in his World Cup, but I think he needs it too. He's been tagged one season wonder for a long time, but he has proven himself at club level. With England, maybe he will bring it home.
In Qatar, it will soon be lights, camera, action. But at the end of the day, whose lights will go dim and whose will become trim. My name is Che Godwin. I was saying, have yourselves a fantastic day. Bye for now.